for us to see. Taking in all the views, give fuel for our curiosity. Up and down, round and round, even shots from the ground. Pics from this side and that side, and they awesome overhead. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Mauricio, you the man, flying through the RGV. Click, 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 flying out from Brownsville. Click, 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 flying over South Bay. Click, 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 flying over Starbase. Click, 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 flying over Massey. Click, 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 flying over Massey's. Click, click, clickety, click, click. Massey, Sanchez, Brown site, White site, launch site, build site, and the ASU. Watch out for squirrels. Did it go down? Go to rabbit hole. Hosts of knowledge and insight from industries all around. Matt Indistar and Stephanie B, Zach B, Jay Ryan, Evan Dude, Jake Alex and Chrome Kiwi, all talk and chat for you and me. All talk and chat for you and me. You the man, flying through the RGV. Click, 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 flying out from Brownsville. Click, 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 flying over South Bay. Click, 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 flying over Starbase. Click, 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 flying over Massey. Click, 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 flying over Massey. Click, click, clickety, click, click, click. You the man. I really don't wanna land.
Two.
All right, g'day everybody. Welcome to the Flyover episode. Where are we? Number 39. Pretty cool. We got some. I don't know. The weather's well. We'll see when we get up there. I think the weather looks good. Let me see here. You can see here in the sort of distance out that way. It's a little bit of clouds, but over Starbase could be better. Um, don't seem to have a aeroplane camera just yet. Oh, yeah, we do.
It just ended, so no, we don't.
Okay. I don't seem. Oh, okay. That's my images. Yep. Oh, I see. I'm just looking at YouTube over there in the corner. So, well, yeah, so we're going to get up in there soon and hopefully capture a heap more images. There's a few things we want to see. Hopefully this week we capture the LOX tank, landing tank at Massey's without any scaffolding on it. That'd be nice. We should be catching the booster at the launch site still, obviously, because the chopsticks won't work. Because
They broke them
they had to go Webby.
because they just decided to do a stress test with the booster on the mount, and then they broke them. Genius, I know.
It happens, Webby. It happens. We also want to thank I Am Watchers for his £5 donation, and he says, "Click, click over in my head." Yeah, that song is very catchy.
Very good. Thanks for that. How is chat? 5x5? Who's that? Oh, woodworker dude. Cool. What? 8x10 and 11x17. Oh, yeah.
He's our chat comedian.
8x10. I guess 11x17. That sounds like a specific sort of number of like a
Those are page
dimension.
sizes. 8.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
Oh, we just have
8.5
like
by
the
11.
metric system. We have A1 and A2 and A3. A4 is what you use for normal typing in Australia, in the rest of the world. Okay, why have I got Gemini over there? What the heck? Be gone. That's better. AI just likes to jump in anywhere, doesn't it? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So still no camera from the airplane?
No, but Fred has arrived, and we should be getting a new link soon.
Oh, awesome. Good stuff. So the pilot's on the yeah, the pilot was running a little bit late today, so a little bit of chatting going on in the meanwhile. So in the meanwhile, let's have a look at this amazing bit of whoa, how do I do that? This amazing bit of static firing here. Wasn't it awesome, the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, they cooked with that footage. 3 different videos is great.
They weren't messing around this time. They just rolled the booster out and went straight into the side fire testing.
And then did and then set the record for the longest ever super heavy static fire.
Look at those clouds, they
That-
come and go. They're like there, then they're not there, then they're there, then they're not there. That's just insane. And it's like just this little pocket just here. For some reason, there's some kind of resonance sort of echoing, reflecting, and just being here.
Wonder if I wonder if this duration was the duration they were targeting yesterday, or if they wanted to go slightly longer at all.
Hey, and sorry, I don't know. And that throttled down definitely, didn't it? There, that last stage, it definitely just here somewhere. It
I
definitely
think
speeds.
if they wanted to go longer, we wouldn't have seen that throttle down and shut off, Jake. I think it would have just ended. I
That's a
think
good point.
I think that's kind of the duration or close to the duration they were hitting, and it throttled down on its own. And yeah, I think that's what happened.
The best is the fact that the trench is still glowing after. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That
Well, that's
second
just the
video.
flame out from the engines.
No. After the flame out, you can still see it glowing because it's so hot.
I wonder if they hit their Sharpie melting.
I was gonna say it's worth noting though, Ryan, that on the 15-second static
There.
fire, they throttle
Mhm.
down at the end as well. We actually were able to see it, if I remember correctly, from the screens in the documentary, in the diagrams. It showed the engines throttling down.
still glowing.
Yeah, it glows for a little while. Makes sense. This is a great one too. And the other overhead where you can see the shockwaves is crazy.
This one you can see a shockwave come out, I think, as the engine starts.
Well, yeah, it's the initial ignition of the so these the initial ignition of the igniters plus the preburner. So the preburners, then the igniters, and then the MCC ignites after the igniter goes.
Yeah, here you can see it. You can see, yeah, like you just said, like 3 little shockwaves come out first.
It's the igniters hit, preburners hit, MCC hits all in the span of milliseconds, and then the static fire happens because the igniters are inside the MCC, not the MCC, the preburners. They don't have any igniters in the main combustion chambers.
No. Can't do it frame by frame. There's definitely like 3. Yeah, before the actual flame, there's like 3 fully separate shockwaves. You can almost hear it too. You can almost hear the stages as the shockwaves happen.
You can hear the igniters go off. You can hear the igniters plus the preburner go. That's the shoom kind of sound you get is when those ignite,
Oh, yeah.
and then milliseconds after that is when the MCCs go.
Does that audio come through? Does that audio come through to YouTube, everyone, of the audio of that static fire?
Yeah, we
It's
can
coming
hear
through
it.
on Discord.
Cool.
I assume it's coming through on YouTube.
Is it at a good like balance?
No, it's very
Level?
soft and pop, 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 pop.
Oh, so would that be better?
How's that again, Indy?
You shush you.
Because that's loud in my headphones and I can barely hear you guys. Look at these shockwaves down here. This just the amount of energy in here is just insane.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine how much energy is actually going on right there. It's a lot. It's the most powerful rocket booster in the world or in human history. And a lot of that is at max thrust. From based off what I can look at, I think there's a decent chunk of it is at max.
Yeah, it appears.
So-
I'd agree. It appears to be like we see a takeoff. The amount of everything coming out and everything, it does appear to be full throttle.
You can see
Which
when
is-
it throttles down and when they actually throttle you can see when they go through the throttle regime a little bit, and then you can clearly see when they go to throttle down near the end. You
Yeah.
can see the fire get smaller as the engines throttle. So yeah.
So it must be like I'm not sure whether we ever saw a full throttle 33 engine static fire on the first one. Hey,
We did.
You.
We
No,
did
it's
it on
Alex.
YouTube.
Did you see they called pad 1 Scrappy? It was.
I did.
And so did
Absolutely
Alex,
did.
and so did Darth, and they were very excited about
I
that.
told Alex we are vindicated, and we were right all along. So
What do you mean
I win.
vindicated? Did anyone ever doubt you
we all
guys?
win. We all win. Me and Alex are right as we always are.
Oh
So
my
I'm not
goodness.
there.
Yeah, always. Yeah, that's it.
Always
yeah.
right. We're always
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
Always.
can't argue it. That's what it
I
is.
suppose you got to be right about something for once.
Now, Steph, were you saying that the comment about full duration on the first one, are you talking about pad 1, or are you talking about the first static fire on pad 2?
Oh no, pad 1. Did we ever see
Okay.
full throttle
No.
33
No.
Those
engines?
clamps, the clamps could not
They
hold
would
it.
they would have ripped the clamp straight off. I think if they
Yeah.
tried to do full thrust, a full thrust
They
static
would've-
fire on pad 1.
They would've
They
done a
would have
ching.
obliterated the pancake.
Yeah, if
would've
they
done
tried
like
to
a
do
Ching 1.
significant period of time, that I don't know how well the pancake would have stood up to that either.
They did a Chinese booster. They would have done a Chinese booster trick.
Yeah, it might have done a
Yeah.
dynamic fire rather than a static fire.
We have liftoff.
Oops.
Yeah, that's some pretty awesome video footage. Pretty impressed, I must say, lately with SpaceX's video crew.
All right, we're moving.
Oh, cool. Let me see. Oh, look at that. There we go. Cool. All right, well, let's get back to the show at hand. So we should have him here. Are we in which one are we in? Are we in Sierra Victor? I think. Or are we in Zero Echo? Let me see. Oh, I think we're in Sierra Victor. Oh, hang on, what am I doing? You can't see. That's better. Yeah, we're in Sierra Victor. So the 172 again today, because we're going to go 10,000 feet today, because the TFRs are still current to 10,000 feet at the launch site and 5,000 feet at Massey's. So we'd be using the oxygen system again today. A bit extra fuel and a slightly more expensive airplane to get those beautiful photos that we all love to see every week. Even a broken watch, yeah, that's for you, Webby. Even a broken watch is right twice a day. From Woodworker Don.
See, I am right. Yep.
Full throttle static fire on pad 1 have been like flight 1 for the pancake. Well, I mean, it was full throttle. Or was it? Was it ever full throttle even on takeoff?
They would hit full throttle on it. Because they would start, the clamps would be released. They would ignite the engines, health check them at half, and then throttle them up, and then it would just leave the mount as soon as it had the thrust weight ratio to leave. That's basically how Pad 1 worked. How Pad 2 works is they hold the clamps are likely still attached. As far as we understand, they didn't tell us. They never told us that they unlatch them early. The clamps are still attached. They light the engines, throttle them up. Once they're at throttle, they disconnect the clamps, and the vehicle lifts off at full power rather than trying to lift off at a lower thrust to weight ratio. And then as soon as it lifts off and starts to clear, everything retracts and goes in, and that's it. Basically, it's much smoother. It's better in every way.
New 7879 with the flagship onboard product, visiting the Wings India Air Show, and touring the Air India headquarters outside Delhi, complete with training facilities across the whole operation.
What are we
Where's that
hearing?
coming from? I don't know. That's me
I was
somewhere.
trying to-
Hang on.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was me or something.
Oh, it's an add-on. That flight. It's on that flight radar
Oh,
website.
I was like, whoa.
It's all good. And Jay, thanks for the positive feedback there too. That's always nice to hear that. Thank you very much.
And we got 2 lovely donations. One from Joe in Space, who donated $20, and she says, "You guys are amazing." And one from Space Watchers 01, who says, "For a drop of gas, thanks for all you guys do." And he donated $5. Thank you both so much.
Let's try that flight radar again. I've never heard an add-on flight radar make noise like that before. Sierra Victor, we're taking off. There we go. We're airborne, and we're airborne. Yep. Okay, positive rate of climb. Gear up. Nah, not on this airplane. There's a bit of traffic around. Jets going left and right. There's a bit of an airway through here. Oh, so there is a this might be a navigation point. There's a what do you call it? A VOR or AB. What do you call them here? At the end of this runway here for navigation, it might be like one of the navigation points. Are we going left-hand turn? No, we're going right-hand turn. So they're turning right traffic. Sierra Victor. I think. Oh, I see. Because YouTube's a bit behind. So this is actually what's happening. And what we're seeing on YouTube is a little bit behind, I guess. Oh, so Mark, I can see Indy's screen. So Indy's screen is what's happening right now. Okay. And then the YouTube screen's a bit delayed. Righto. Cool. Glad I worked that out. Now, any photos? Let me see. No. Oh, geez, it's looking a bit cloudy. Everyone better cross their fingers. Everyone cross their fingers, cross their toes. And make sure their friends in the room are crossing their fingers and toes too. You're very welcome,
there?
Justice Joe. $5 might be half a drop of gas. Yeah, maybe these days.
What were you
ADB.
Webby was saying something.
Maybe.
What were you saying, Webby?
Never mind. I'm making a joke.
No, it's not an NDB. It's a omnidirectional. What's it called? Oh, geez. I learned all this ages ago. It's the one where you can do the VOR navigation with. You can come in on a vector on a radius. Okay, looking at the looks like we should have photos now. NDBs are your non-direction beacon. That's what you use your ADF, automatic direction finder, in, I think, with that one. I must go and read my textbooks again. Here we go. Lots of photos.
Vortec.
So what's going on in... Yeah, thanks. Maybe, yeah. What's going on now? What did we see? Oh, that's right. Near the front of this site, there was some stuff. Where is it? This photo got it. Oh, those fans, yeah. They haven't moved. Okay, so we're up towards Starbase. Cool. Are you getting some buffering, Indy? Is that the camera?
Yeah, it's the camera.
Okay, cool.
We might be going too fast.
Heading downwind.
We has to climb to 10,000 feet today, so.
He usually climb speeds a little bit slower, but he might be heading downwind right now, which means your ground speed will be higher. Of course. Now, control key is not a good key either. Maybe left shift.
And while Steph
Oh.
figures out her keys, anybody who's not already a member, we'd love to invite you to become a member. As a member, you get to see all of these photos that Mauricio's taking as we speak in full high definition. And it's open to members, paid members. They get the first look at everything brand new during our show and tells. So if you aren't already, we invite you to become a member. And if you like what you're seeing, be sure to like and subscribe.
Thanks, Terry. I see what you mean. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're having a bit of trouble with with the link. That's fine. So we won't get any more photos for a second either.
But maybe we can go through the ones we have so far.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a second here. So with your basic navigation, isn't this one an OBS? So you can set, I think you can use this one on iOS as well. So you can set a radius that you come into the beacon at, and it'll give you a, and this is an ADF, I think, and that allows you to come into one of those navigation beacons on a particular radius. I thought that was OBS and VOR navigation, which could still use a Vortac type beacon though. It's been a minute. Thanks. Okay, enough of that. Images, yeah. So basically, we've got the storage lot. Yeah, okay, we got some of the port too. Let's have a quick look at this port down here. Okay, so we're getting dribs and drabs in. So hopefully we get the camera feedback.
We also wanted to thank Terry for his $50 donation. Thank you so much. And Wilbo Baggins for his £2 donation. And he says, an appreciative hello is all.
Oh, good stuff, Terry. Good on you. And Wilbo. I've got some stats here. System 172 burns about 9 gallons per hour. So this feed is about 1.5 hours, so total of 13 gallons. Round up to 15 gallons. It's about $100 per gas. Yeah, plus the pilot, plus the plane, plus Mauricio's personal time. Yeah. It's if you own your own plane, like a Cessna, like a 152, it cost about, back in the 90s, it was like $14 an hour, and that included fuel and maintenance. If you take in your 100 hourly, type maintenance, and you divide that by your hours. So, but because Mauricio doesn't own his own plane, he's got to hire the plane and the pilot. So, of course, that adds up. Okay, let's see what else has come in. So yeah, any donations is very much appreciated. Okay, what do we got down here? Can we see the tanks? Just around the corner. And the tanks here. I might get more photos. Fly Jake, that does happen sometimes, yeah, that the plane is rented wet, which means the hourly higher rate for the airplane includes fuel and obviously maintenance and everything else goes with it. So, and oil. They burn a little bit of oil, those engines. It's like a lot of aircraft engines are like derated in horsepower to give them extra reliability.
Steph, we got the stream back.
Oh, awesome. Oh, look at that. Nice, puffy, beautiful clouds. No, go away. Awesome. That looks really good.
Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Indy.
Hello, Cumulus.
Yeah,
Good morning.
Steph, bit of information. I used to fly a 172 XP, and it was a Reims rocket made in France, and it was a 210 six-cylinder horsepower donk up the front. They derated it to 195 for insurance reasons in North America. Anything over 200 horsepower in North America, and the rental insurance gets quite steep.
Fair enough. XP, is that like extra power? What? How many horsepower did you say? Over 200 in a 172?
Yeah, the R172 was made in Reims, France. It was A 172 with a 6-cylinder Continental 210 horsepower engine up the front, which was great for flying in the Pyrenees and in the Swiss Alps, where you need that power to outclimb the terrain. And we had one at the flying club down at Boundary Bay, and it was a constant speed, but not retractable, and I flew it all the time. But they had to derate the engine to 195 horsepower, or the insurance just about doubled if it was over 200 horsepower.
So just for the other people listening, you said the word constant speed. That's the propeller, so variable pitch propeller. Well, they call it
Yep.
constant speed because the propeller pitch governs the engine RPMs.
Yeah, you always have higher RPM than your manifold pressure, 24/23, for example. I'm speaking 100.
I know you're getting technical. But yeah, it's like a governor. So if the engine revs, say with a constant speed unit, you don't set, you set the RPM, and then no matter where you put your throttle, the RPM will stay the same because if the engine labours a bit, it'll go fine pitch a little bit, and if the engine overruns a little bit, it'll coarsen the propeller up automatically.
Correct.
And so most are hydraulic, but some are electric. But yeah, mostly they're hydraulic.
But it defaults if you lose oil pressure to fine pitch, which is full power setting, so you can just run the engine on throttle alone.
When you take off, you set it to high RPM. It's like using first gear in your car, and then like in second gear. Then when you get up to cruise altitude, you set out of the course and your RPMs come down. It's like going up into top gear. So it gives an airplane much better takeoff performance because a propeller, a fixed pitch propeller, you either got good takeoff performance or you got good cruise performance, but never both. So
Correct.
constant speed unit or variable pitch propeller gives you the best of both worlds.
Yeah. That's what I
Ryan,
use
you
to
see
get
any
in.
good photos? Sorry, Cumulus. Ryan, you see any
Go
good
ahead.
photos?
Waiting for him to come in.
No, just waiting for him to come in.
Yeah, that's why I haven't said anything.
There's some clouds, and
And
the port photos look
You
good.
also derate turbofans using an ID plug on the EEC, like for TFM 56-7Bs, they can be rated up to 27,000. A lot of times you derate them to 24,000 pounds of thrust. And then on top of that, you don't always take off on full thrust. You only do it every once in a while as a test. And you take off at a lower rated thrust to, preserve the life of the engine and cycle time.
Yeah.
That is correct, Ryan. With the turbofans, they set the takeoff thrust according to the weight on board.
Well, and weather and other things. Because
Of course, you don't. Of course,
even
you
if
don't
you're
have
empty
variable.
weight,
Sorry.
even when you're empty weight, I was doing a ferry flight out of Utah to Vegas, and fully empty weight, no one on board, just crew and me. And then because how hot it was in southern Utah, we had to run at max power to take off.
Yeah, you've also got high altitude there. The airports in
Yeah.
Utah are significantly above sea level, so you got thinner air.
So yeah,
Which is
warmer
fun.
air means less performance too. 'Cause it's in air. Ryan, have you got a pilot's license to fly a passenger
No,
jet? No, cool.
no,
But you
I
can
don't have a
taxi
pilot.
them.
I don't have a
You're
pilot license at all. I just have an AMP
are you
license.
allowed to taxi them?
Yeah, I can
Sure.
run engines and taxi aircraft.
That's pretty cool. Evan.
Have you done that?
More times than I can count.
Nice. Is it like
And you're
driving
like
a car?
so all the
And
systems like on the
I've run the engines at max power on the ground for maintenance runs for like when you do like a vibration survey test. So when you change, say if you have to change the weights on the spinner because you're getting a high vibe, so you change the weights, and if you have to run a vibration survey, you basically run it up to about 30% N1 for about like a couple of minutes. Then you run it at about 70% N1 for a couple of minutes as you get the engine to warm up and warm up and warm up. And then you run it to max. So you run it to like 95% or higher um, in order to get in order to actually get an accurate vibe survey on board, vibration survey. So then you're sitting at the run-up pad with your feet holding down the brakes because you can't really rely on the parking brake when you're running both engines at max power on the ground. So you're sitting there holding it with your legs as you're running at 95% plus N1 for 5 minutes to get a accurate vibration
Ooh,
number,
I got some
and
more
then
photos coming in.
you roll it back
Yeah.
as you go.
Doesn't look like there's too much yet. So we'll just port photos, it looks like.
But it's fun.
Ryan, is that looking for harmonic frequencies?
It's looking for a vibe. Well, because your fan blades are balanced based off of because you need to balance it because if you don't balance it and you're spinning at like 36,000 RPM, all of a sudden you're going to have vibration problems. So
Yeah.
it's looking to make sure your fan is balanced. So in order to
Okay.
do that, you can change weights on the spinner in order to balance out the weight if for some reason it were to become unbalanced. Or if some reason that doesn't work, you have to take the blades off, clean them, re-lubricate the blades, or swap out blades and then put it back together again. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm getting some more photos in now.
Cool. Yeah, back to the job at hand.
We also wanna-
Go on.
Sorry, we also want to thank Fly Jake for his $25 donation. He says, towards a plane rental, and keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Fly Jake. We appreciate it.
Looks like they've started putting pilings in at that one new site next to Ad Astra.
Yeah.
Drill rig out there.
Yeah, I couldn't quite remember what it was when I asked for the episode now. That's a CFA drill, yeah?
Yep.
Continuous flight auger.
Yeah. So they've finished. Oh, so they had. Gee, they put a lot of sand in this, or whatever that topsoil is, that construction soil. They put heaps in. Man, there must be hundreds of truckloads of soil gone into there. And the school thing. Oh, they're starting to build on the school thing too down here. It's like a building in that there now. What's going? So this old site. Okay, so they're really clearing stuff out of here.
That's
Oh, they
weird.
put up a building, and they've changed. They've changed. Oh no, they haven't. I was going to say they've changed the whole entry, but they haven't, have they? They've just filled in that part, so the
Yeah, they
entrance is
took
the
out all
same.
that concrete, and I wonder if they're putting in a warehouse.
Was there?
Well, why
Maybe
would you
was
need
there?
pilings for a warehouse?
And if
Yeah,
they were
something.
doing
Yeah.
that, why wouldn't they just do it in Sanchez? For the
Well,
inventory tent?
Sanchez has got a lot of other stuff. I wonder if this is where their new warehouse is going to be for a lot of parts, and they're gonna make this, and then I wonder if a lot of Sanchez parts are gonna just move here, and then they'll turn Sanchez into something else.
Well, they've
Could
already
be.
started to remove racks at Sanchez.
So basically, I think they're building a large storage building here. I think that's what they're doing with this. What else are you gonna put here?
Well, because of the pilings, they're putting something heavy here, and they don't own
Yeah.
Sanchez, and they do own this, so they might have something to do with why not Sanchez too, perhaps. And also, Sanchez is kind of a critical assembly area if you think about it.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be a large storage building or something.
Get rid of the inventory tent at Sanchez. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
That would be nice. Get rid of the inventory tent. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Is this? There's still scaffold up the top. They still haven't put any more of those beams in. Yeah, they're working on it full on. Wow, they're really going. Oh, is that all? Is that scaffold? Oh, it's just scaffolding. Gee,
And
they're
that's
going.
they're doing something fun to that landing tank. I don't know what. I think that's also one of the reasons why I would also rule out Booster 20 trying to return, even though I brought it up a lot. Like, it feels like they're doing something to the landing tank, and this feels like something that needs to be done before they try to catch a booster. Maybe that's just me.
They're
All for
doing
one is
something. Yeah.
All for one is wondering how remote is that area versus Sanchez though.
It's just a little ways up Highway 4.
It's
It's not
between
too
Massey's
far.
and the production site. So, like, it's a pretty decent place to store stuff if you want to
Yeah,
make
it
it like a
is.
storage lot there
Yeah.
and whatnot. It's a good
Not
place
quite
to
as
to
close
put
as
one.
Sanchez, but still not too far of a drive.
Either way, whatever they're putting there is going to be heavy because they're doing CFA pilings.
Yeah.
Don't know
Yeah.
what they're going to put there, but they're putting something heavy.
It was just a concrete, yeah, like storage lot. They wouldn't have CFA piles. Yeah.
Looks like they brought a
No.
bunch of scaffolding back, and I think they've got a scaffolding train down into the trench, the flame trench at Massey's.
The last week they had that and that hook. That's a wonky piece of pipe. So is that one, to be honest. I still haven't used this pipe rack, so I'm still, like I said, I wrote in the script in the episode that comes out probably today or tomorrow that this really looks. I actually said in the live stream too. This all is looking very ready to go, to be honest. Except that pipe rack, I'm not sure. It looks like they're using this gas system, I think, for the ullage in these tanks. They've tied into it in here somewhere. I guess that's the ullage.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get those two tanks operational as quick as possible so they can start dismantling the older ones.
Yeah, I want to see those nice, vaporizers here for the ullage. But that could still happen quite easily. Yeah, get rid of all that other stuff. Yeah, that's for sure. Can't wait. Look at the silly thing. And they asked, what scaffolding in the trench?
Yeah, I think they've got.
Oh yeah,
I think they've got a scaffolding stairway down into the trench. They're doing stuff after that 6-engine static fire. So
yeah. Oh, they're up here working too. I wonder if they're gonna do more of that pull down, those other pull down. What have we got here? I've got a crane and a. Is that two cranes or crane and a man lift? Crane and a man lift, is it? Or is that a second crane? That's definitely a crane. No, they were higher resolution. These will come up nice in the high res once they go through Photoshop. These will be beautiful.
next ship to go there is likely 41 for its static fire because I doubt 42 would be ready for cryo before 41 static fire. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, no, that's just a crane. Another a second crane. So what are they doing? Where are they? They are in that area where that other ram is, that single ram on that crane by the look of it. Because there's not much like this one here. Because there's not much else up in here that needs work. This one's doing something lower, I think, underneath. Actually, is that a work platform? Is that an aerial platform, actually? Yeah, that actually might be an aerial platform, actually. Because, see, it's like a platform that's not here. Cool. And yeah, down. Oh, gee, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Scafungus. Did you see Ryan the vapors in this pond on one of those videos of the static fire?
yeah, kind of funny.
Kind of confirmed our suspicions. What are they?
I still think it would have been funny if that entire pool of liquid methane just went up. Would have been funny.
That's water pipe. It's one of the pipes I've seen them use for water anyway. Where are they running? Oh, what's that? What are they?
It's like
what
pipe
are they up
storage or
to?
I-beams.
It looks like some more pipes too. What are they up to here? What's going on? Going on? What you doing, SpaceX? Now, I'm going to get behind. Looking at masses, I get behind, then all of a sudden there's pictures of Sanchez, pictures of everywhere else. Let me see, there's another shot. Here we go. What's going on in here? Well, they're definitely blue pipe. Yeah, they look like black pipes. Gee, they're big compared to a car. Man, everything's so big around here. Yeah, I'll be interested to see the high res, what's going on in here. That'll be interesting. So 18.3 is still there?
Well, it just got its chopstick simulators.
Oh, of course, that's right. It did too.
Yeah, it's not done yet.
Man, this thing's had every single test. They're like, which test do you want done on 18.3? All of them. And then some, all of them, and then some more after that. So they both went in, didn't they? Yeah. This thing's still here. Doesn't any more rods taken out? Oh, is that rod taken out? Oh, it might be. If it is, it's interesting they're both where the drogues are. See if I can find another shot of that. These will be much better once they get brightened up. These will be beautiful. Never fear. Especially with India on the job. I can't quite see if it's there or not. It might be there. I'm not sure. Hard to tell. It looks like chat's having a good old chat. 163 in chat. Good on you. That's awesome to see. Where are you? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Oh, wow. Oh, climbing to 10,000 feet. Okay.
Yeah, some long range Sanchez shots.
Yep. So where is it? So the line. Okay. Yep. So from this far out. So getting some shots from over here. So all the way through there. Man, that's pretty good. That's a good lens. See. Let me see some Sanchez shots.
Also, some from the launch sites from from afar. It's hard to see which. I mean, you can see the sheet pile line along the back side of the blast wall by the propellant farm, but it's hard to tell from this distance if we can tell which side the commodities trench is going on yet.
So we've got a fourth part. Yep, for the base. Yep.
Yeah, still missing the corners though.
Yep. Oh, they
And it looks like 37A just got it's just got a couple more pieces too. They came a different way. So it just I
Stephanie,
think it
go
got some
over
faults
to
at levels.
2605 real quick.
one sec.
And then zoom in on the back side of the propellant or the blast wall there. Is it just me, or does it look there's a line? See that line going diagonally? See where the crawler is, or the tread? Yeah, right there. Does that line on the so go to the left a bit? So from the corner of the tread there on the crane, go to the left. You see that line running along the ground? Or no, the one that's a little further up. That one, yeah. Does that look like it's the guide or the guide marker, or is that just something laying on the ground?
You think the trench might do it? little
That's what
bend.
I'm trying to tell. Is the
But
trench going to do a sharp angle there, or is that just something that happens to be resting at that angle right now?
it could be an expansion loop too.
True. Forgot about those.
Yeah, that could be an expansion loop out of that, but it looks like the trench is going to run right up alongside the wall there.
You think
Yeah.
there, do you?
It could be an expansion loop, but maybe it's just the angle. But that looks like it's not an exact 90 to the rest of it. It looks like it's at a bit
I
of an
don't
angle.
don't look at angles so much in these photos because they quite often lie.
Yeah.
This area is getting nicely populated, and these pieces have been put in, which is cool.
Yeah, they're pre-building a lot of those. They're pre-building just about everything on this for pad one.
Yeah, it's good to see. The
They
two
pour they
missing wall parts came with the holes.
the where the where the comms bunker used to be is a nice new
Oh,
concrete pad.
nice. The tankers all here getting things all built up. And I got these nicely done. And getting some people come up to visit. Looking forward to a launch over the next couple of weeks, perhaps. So the deluge farm looks like there's no workers, no trucks or cranes. So looks like they might be happy with the deluge farm after that static fire.
Well, no aborts, no issues. It seems like they might finally have it figured out.
The famous last words.
I know, right?
He just jinxed the hell right out of him. Oh, look at all this. Of course, because the booster came through. So as we were thinking that that would all get covered up for the booster to come through. So where's the... Wait, what?
What?
Where's the pipe that's stuck up with the
It's right
valve in
there.
it? Oh, is that
It's
it there, you
there.
think? Okay.
No, it's not there. It's right next to the opening. It doesn't stick out very far.
I'll have to have a closer look at a better photo. Hang on. Cool. Thanks for that. Let me
No,
look at
it's
this.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to have a closer look. So that means that passage is blocked up too now. That water manifold thing, that's crazy. That bit of pipe, I don't know what that was all about. That was just stupid. Just another dumb, crazy. Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. I was never going to be able to have tankers, water tankers there. Not 13 of them anyway.
Oh, looks like they've started cutting out part of the wall for Star Factory that's going to connect over to Gigabay. If you go to 2611, you can see the cutout in the wall. Down one. There you go.
That's another
No,
cutout.
that's...
Yeah.
Isn't that...
I think that's another cutout.
No, haven't they just taken the frame out now? That
Yeah,
was
or the
already...
frame's taken out, one of the two.
Yeah, no, that one was already there and the frame's
Oh,
been
it
taken
was?
out. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
show you from last week.
Must
Just
not have been in
quickly.
the full batch I got, or batch for SN1, but okay, I'll take your word for it.
We had a good shot of it too last week. Oh, where'd that photo go? Oh, it's under there. Hang on. There it is.
Okay.
I think unless they've opened more up down here, which you could be right, I'm not absolutely 100%
Hmm.
sure at the moment. How's the angle? So this frame's been there I was only saying that even earlier today, that these frames are still there, and they've been there for longer than I remember them being there on the first one. There's that device for helping with the. So this is last week's photos. So I think we're looking at that, but I could be wrong. It may be a new opening, but it's about in the right spot for that end of it. Let me see if there's another shot. We need
It'll
the
be
same. We need that same shot straight down the alleyway. There's heaps of good photos coming through. Let me see where. Right with I call it Sanchez. About the workstations. Hang on, where are we? This photo might.
They aren't fully started yet. I
There we
mean,
go.
it looks like they're
There's a
getting there,
platform.
but they're not. They're not.
That's a raising platform, isn't it?
It should, as we think. We'll put it that
And
way.
there's all the parts for the actual workstation, perhaps.
They're showing up.
Oh, what else is new? That what? Oh, that's wasn't that red? Have they painted that white? What?
Must have painted it white. They must. I wonder if they're keeping that themselves. What if they bought it straight up?
Yeah, maybe they bought it. Yeah. Okay. Heard it here first at RGB Aerial. Yeah, they're already starting to get rid of some racks down here. Where's the photo of that? Well, I'm here.
Well, they've kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
like cordoned off an entire area, it looks like, and kind of set up a. They've literally set up an area for trucks to drive in around and then drop off their OLM parts and then drive off. Is literally what it looks like they've set up.
Through here.
No, if you look, you zoom in a little bit. The little area where the mount's getting built and the crane is, you see where they can a truck could just go in, drive around.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of looks like what they've done. Almost.
Here, there was racks here 2 weeks ago. There was racks in here. They've all gone. Well, there's 2 racks have gone. But now they're putting pipes just on the ground. And I couldn't find where the racks went. There's another one of these getting built over here too.
Those
And this one.
those turntables are basically gone now.
Is 18 gone too?
No, part of 18 still there and part of 17 is still there.
What?
17's still there. It's
What's
partially
left
still
of
there. It's right there.
that?
No, it's a little bit off to the side there. Right there. Right where your cursor was.
That's
That's where it
18.
is. Pretty sure that was 17. That was scrapped right there.
No, that one's 18. 17's gone. Oh, all this is fully scrapped. All those turntables are pretty well fully gone. I'll bring up last week's photo. Hang on.
Steph, random question. Do you have another tab open with news or something on? Because the closed captions are picking up something different than what you guys are saying in YouTube.
Let me see quickly. Hang on. So, no, I've only got this one screen open one YouTube, one
Oh, I guess that is
Chrome,
18.
Chrome tab, and I've turned X up, and I did have NSF Live running, but that's gone now.
So
I'm not sure what's going on there. Sorry.
No, no worries. Sorry to interrupt. Please carry on.
No, don't be sorry. Good to know these things. Yeah, that's 18, isn't it?
I guess it is.
We haven't seen 17 for some time. It's long, and I'm disappointed. I thought that'd be good to put on display anyway. Whatever.
Thought they were keeping them around, but I guess not.
Yeah, well, B4 is still around over there, the restaurant, but yeah, I don't know. So the other Pez dispenser went in to the factory, so to be getting loaded with Starlinks. I mean, Starlink mass simulators. And I wonder if they're going to do a couple of more cameras this time as well, again. You reckon? That work's still going on. Oh, they've opened the door more this week. All right, let's have a look at the launch site. Oh, there's some good photos of the build site there. Okay, the pad that was scrappily built. Actually, first, let's look at Booster. Where's Booster, Booster, Booster? Here, Booster, Booster, Booster. Where are you? There you are. Voila. One Booster 20. The record holder.
For longest super heavy static fire.
And at full throttle, which is just insane. I can do that. So
I mean,
this is
I bet part of it was at full throttle. I just don't know how much of it was. You can, if you look down right there, right on the semi, there's the replacement actuator.
Oh, cool.
There it is.
Yeah. They've got the we're waiting. We're waiting. Hurry up, we're waiting. Some trucks. Oh, well, that bit of concrete's clean, so that's a start. Okay. Oh, there it is. I see. I didn't doubt you. I just couldn't see it. Didn't remember it being quite that small. Very good. So they've been bringing in more water tankers, I would imagine, dumping them into here since the static fire.
I haven't seen anything since the static fire lately.
Although, no, it's going back, isn't it? Back to the factory. And,
Yeah, it's rolling
I
back.
tell you what, I can understand why
Once
people
they
thought it
fix-
wasn't going to. I can kind of understand people saying it wasn't going to roll back because it did come out looking very clean and like finished, or even the chimes finished as well, like all sealed.
The chines are bolted up, but there's still some harnesses in there, and I don't know. I was looking at the harnesses myself, and I was trying to figure out how you would properly disconnect the harnesses and tie off as well as tie off all of the loose cables, so that you could safely, get it to a point where you can take off with it and send it. And the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I don't know how you can take off some of those chines outside without having to significantly take off most of the bottom of the chine. Because we don't when you look at where the harnesses go in, you don't know where they end on the inside of the chine.
Yeah,
And if they're not tied down on the inside, you can't just disconnect the thing and stuff it up in there. That would be stupid. Because at that point, vibrations could cause that to go all over the place, and then say it hits a COPV line, breaks a COPV line, COPV blows up, takes the whole booster with it. Don't want that. You don't want anything loose. So
Vibration elimination is very important.
you would need to at least take it off and go up in there and either tie it off somewhere or disconnect it fully. Well, the only way to do that is to take off the entire bottom of the chine, not just the bottom plate, because the bottom plate can't just come off with the way some of the lines are routed through it, from what I can tell. So it needs to go back into the bay to get that stuff done. And as far as I understand, I don't think it has FTS either. So it's got to do that plus closeouts for that. I don't know if it has FTS. We could check the Mega Bay 1 door.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to do.
If it has it, maybe they didn't change it when it rolled out. But I know we never caught the fact that those placards were open. So when it rolled out, after I saw how those harnesses were connected, I was fairly sure it had to roll back one way or the other. And well, it does. So
I'm sure one day they'll roll them straight out, static fire, and stack them.
eventually, I
yeah.
just, why would you try that the second Block 3 booster?
With all that
seems
side
way
paneling
too
done,
risky.
doing the 3 levels on this side.
Yeah, and the explosive placard is not open on Mega Bay 1. So either they already closed it when it rolled out or whatever.
Which photo was that?
Like 2682, like the back placard that opens up.
Yeah.
It's not open on the back side of the bay. So either they already closed the placard up, even though it rolled out 2 days ago or a day and a half ago, or they or it never had FTS to begin with. I'm going to go with it never had it to begin with.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So it's rolling back, and it'll roll back.
Geez, once they come around this side with those 3 bits of cladding, the cladding crew, they're fast. That's a fast system of getting cladding done. That's so quick. That's so much faster than the mega bays. I'm dumbfounded how quickly they're getting the cladding done.
Made good progress on the Starship Park there. Looks like the one side staircase, the Starship Park area.
Yeah.
Yeah, one whole side staircase done. Good ways through the second side.
This looks like some 80s computer graphics, like a spider or something in 80s graphics.
Yeah.
Where's Starship Park? Give me a number.
2960 is a good one. Looks like they're also starting work on something over on the well, it's right from the perspective of this picture, but left if you're looking at it from Highway 4.
Another car park over here. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. The stairs. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they got that whole from this perspective would be the right side staircase. It looks like that's all done, and they're about 2/3 of the way on the left one.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just wet.
Yeah.
I might have shot from the other side, and they're still. They've actually put. I don't know. They've put little walls there. Or they're still the rebar.
Yeah,
Where'd the door go? Oh, the door's in. Oh, hang on. Isn't there a door here? Wasn't there a door here?
Yeah, I think there was. Maybe it's that. Oh, what's that right there? Is that it?
Maybe. Yeah.
I bet you that's it.
Yeah. So they filled this section in. That was waiting to be filled in. Oh, it's a tiny, I suppose, tiny car park. I suppose a few parks. Parking bay, car park. I was expecting another one of these in this corner, but maybe not. Like, instead of triangle that way, have the square side this side, and that's the triangle part out there. Anywho, not to be. Is there a front shot?
Didn't see one there yet. Anyway.
Hang on. I found another good photo to look at. Let's do it. So the trench. I'll have a look at the trench in a second. There's something over here that I want to look at. I think it was 2 photos over. Yeah, down in here. Oh, actually, this is a good shot for a few. Let's look at the trench first. Scenes over here. So
Trench
the
is looking nice.
oh,
It looks like
so
it's
that
all the way dug out. They just gotta cut off all the and of course the basement of the service structures in.
I think this is missing, Webby. This bit here needs to be dug out still. But that looks finished. And yeah, the base, yeah, to the so they got the steel, so they'll have the concrete down here. Man, they're going to have this framework up over here probably within the next couple of weeks, eh? Man, they're flying ahead with these sort of areas.
I would assume the service structure gets lifted into place sooner rather than later. They're gonna put all that steel, the corrugated steel on there, pour that, and then they'll probably lift that into place and bolt it in.
Yep.
There's some last bits on the ramps to be dug out. Then they got to cut off all of the piles, and then they have to lay all the rebar in. So probably it's still at least another month and a half. It'll take a bit to do all the rebar, and all the
Yeah, but
embed.
this actual structure should be in here within the next couple of weeks, I reckon.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have the service structure partially installed before they even lay the rebar into the trench.
Oh, where's my favorite photo? Where's my favorite photo? This one will do it. No. Yes, it does.
Mauricio, I'm not sure if you can hear us, but if you can, there's a ship section or a ring section just moved into the ring yard. It looks like it might be going to Mega Bay 2.
Mauricio just said we're getting ice up here.
Oh, well, be careful, guys. Get your carb heat going. Careful. That's pretty dangerous.
Oh, he's not in VC. Okay, never mind. Oh,
There's my favorite
Patreon
photo.
package.
There's a way to ping him.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
I'm
he can
gonna-
hear the stream because he's responding in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, if you can
Yeah,
hear
looks
us,
like it's
then
moving
yeah.
into Mega Bay 2 right now.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, I don't know if he can get it quick enough. That would be our first view of a Block 3 common dome from above.
See what they do on flight radar. See if he flies over that way. So Starbase is here.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll make it in time.
What, 42's common dome?
Yeah, it's 42's common dome.
He's still up at altitude too.
It's like make a beeline for the production site.
I might just keep shutting. Gee, there's a fair bit of pipe work down here. Yeah, so the SQD extension is gone.
Oh yeah, they
Gone.
sliced that thing up into little bitty pieces. The thing is a pilot.
Oh, did they? Is it already in the trash? Is it?
I think it's gone. I think they sliced her up completely.
That's the best. That's the best sort of gone for that old SQD.
It's a piece
That
of
was
junk.
that was scrap. No, it was built scrappily.
Yeah.
With a scrappy thing. That was when I heard. I rolled on the ground laughing for way too long when I heard them say that in the documentary. That
Oh,
was the best bit.
That
Capsa-
roof is almost done too. That the roof is nearly done. I think they just got to put some more panels on it and weld it together, and then it's just going to be sitting there until they're ready to install the roof.
Mauricio already got photos of it. If you look at photo 3202, you can see it, and that is thanks to Capsa X. Thank you.
3202. Right, I got to refresh then.
Me too. 3202. There we go.
Thank you, Capsa.
Nick will be happy
Oh,
about this
there it
one.
is. Oh, there it is. Look at that.
That's the
Cool.
first we've ever seen of a. That's the first aerial shot of a ship common dome in like years.
Yep. Absolutely. Just gotta be patient, and you just get lucky some days, don't you?
Be in the right place at the right time.
So these will come up good after they get denoised and sharpened up. We'll be able to get a good details on that. And there may be even another photo even closer yet. Was that in chat, that number mentioned, or in Patreon?
Patreon Lounge
I'll
with
get
the
on there.
picture itself. Thanks to Cap6.
Yeah, flight radar indies. Yeah, it keeps making noises in the background. Sorry.
I think that's what it is picking up as well, your flight radar. The advertisements. I think that's what the closed caption keeps picking up. Because it's talking about some crazy stuff.
Oh, sorry. They never used to make noise. I don't know what's going on.
Well, what's funny is it's picking that up over your conversation, which is odd to me, but whatever. Welcome to YouTube.
I couldn't hear it either. I couldn't hear it myself. I wonder if one of my stupid OBS settings is doing something weird.
If you have a browser isolated, just mute your browser. But that's for another day.
So I've only got one tab open. This is the only tab I've got open in a browser.
I just feel bad for like Sharpie because he's going to read something completely different than what you guys are saying.
Well, I hope it's fixed now. Is it fixed now, guy? Everyone in chat, is it following our words now?
We'll know in a little bit. It's
Not
still
like closed
talking.
caption is very accurate. Anyways, it's auto generated closed captions.
Yeah, but it's not as.
YouTube.
I mean, if you read what it's writing now, it's completely different than what you guys are saying. Closed caption is. I know it's not perfect, but it's not bad. This is not even on what topic.
Oh, wow. Isn't falling balanced and a what in the world?
Sometimes it straight up just doesn't know what you're saying. It
What?
did
Nude
done that in
in?
the
What's
past.
going on?
Done that in
I'm
the
s-
past to me too. As I've tried to use it before just to see what it does, and it's pretty garbage.
I've got X closed. I've got one
Do you have
tab
your
only
music
open
on?
in. No.
Okay.
Oh. No, I have an app. Let's close that. I did have Spotify open, but it wasn't playing.
It's okay. Let's just keep going. Sorry, Sharpie,
Ah.
if you can read this at some point.
I've never seen closed caption do. Wow, that's really bad. Unreal. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's like picking up the news or something like that. It's okay. Let's keep going.
All right. So if someone wants to message Sharpie in chat and apologize that that's not working properly.
Yeah, he's not here right now.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we'll work on that because it's not me.
Go to 2723. Get a good shot of the sheet wall for the commodities trench. It looks like it is actually going to be from the one that we saw last week. It's going to be the far side from the
Yeah, the
blast
thing
wall.
you saw on the ground was probably a sheet pile that hadn't been picked up yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing now. But yeah, if you look just to the right a bit of the crane, there's one that looks like it's sticking in the ground, perpendicular to the wall.
My
So
guess
going to
is
probably be for the
that
expansion loop.
my guess is what's going to happen is they're going to the expansion loop's going to be down by where the tanks start. They'll knock down that part of the wall, and they'll build a little bit. They'll knock down that part of a wall and just kind of rebuild it in a certain way, and then they're just going to tee off all the lines that go into the trench that goes towards pad B, they'll all get teed off and then go into that trench,
Well, look,
and that's how they'll
if you
swap between the
look
two
to the
pads.
left of the crane, there's let me see. If you see the two where the two reclamation tanks are, if you come sort of off the left hand side out, there looks like there's one half stuck in the ground. It's parallel to the blast wall.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that no,
either
just have your
either
cursor
they're
on it,
gonna
Stephanie.
there's
Go
two ways
go
they
back to
could
the
do
left a bit with your
this.
cursor. There, that
Uh,
looks like it's one stuck in the ground. So I would assume the commodities trench would be between that long run and the one that looks like there's a single sticking in the ground.
Yeah, I didn't
S-
think it was going to be on that side. I thought it was always going to be on this side, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
who knows?
Because
But either way,
they need a
it'll like
second row of sheet piles back over there to dig the trench.
either there's two ways I can see them doing this. Either they're gonna run it off those same valves that they have there, and they're just gonna tee it off as it was running into the trench, or they're gonna tee it off at the supply line, and then they're gonna make their own set of valves again for this pad. But they're just gonna tee off the supply off of the subcoolers and pumps. Because
If they
There was a
I
there was a
don't
choice to take it from here or from here.
if they're
because I don't
teeing off
really
from the
see
supply
them.
lines, why would
Yeah,
they have the whole that whole row of sheet piles that we see them have there?
if they're gonna what?
If they were teeing off from where the
Well,
supply lines make the turn at the corner, why would they need to have that whole road that we see
Well,
them
well,
see
they wouldn't.
done?
I was saying those were the options in the past if they weren't
Hmm.
gonna make
Okay,
their
I
own
see what
pump
you're
and
saying.
subcooler setup. Now my Kate, what I'm wondering is are they gonna try to tee it off somewhere and then they're gonna run straight into the trench and they're gonna have their own set of valves or whatever, and this little area is gonna be part of the valves, or if it's just gonna tee off right where it enters the cryo trench and then just go into its own trench again. So to literally tee off and then just arch down into its own trench.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's, to me, that looks like what they're going to do. For a long time, I thought they were going to tee up from here and have another one of this system over there somewhere for the pad scrap. But now it looks like, yeah, what is it Creeper was saying? It looks like they are coming from here now.
Yeah.
Also, yesterday confirmed a few things about changes. Um, the new liquid vapor return tanks were running yesterday, and the only time that the LOX cannons ever turned on was at the very end of D tank when they were just boiling off what was left of the LOX inside the system. So those weren't used at all pretty much yesterday, except for final stuff, and they used the two gas tanks, liquid vapor return
Yeah.
tanks that they now have. So that entire system was used. I can't wait to see what it looks like for ship. If it's going to be the same setup, that means the tower vent will only activate as a drain
Yeah.
once final prop load is finished,
Yeah, to drain the
or
pipe.
final D tank. That's the only
Yeah.
time that vent will run. Otherwise, they aren't going to run. That tower vent won't run at all. So we'll never see that. We'll see the SQD arms get frosty at some point, but we'll never see the tower vent activate. So is what it's kind of looking like if they're going to run the same system. So
Um, look, they've got, oh, damn it. They've got, sorry, just give me a sec. They've got this conduit trench ran through, and they've turned the corner with these conduits. Now, where is it? No, there was extra holes there on a cable tray going to the ground. I'm wondering if they're going to put a bunker in here rather than where I thought over there, and that still allows that opening to work through there for trucks.
you mean a new comms bunker for the pad?
Yeah, well, yeah, electrical, like maybe that's where is it? That one over here with all the yeah VFDs on it. Variable frequency drive thingy is.
They did. I mean, I could be. I think it was already set up because there was that one, but they also had a second one they bought in right. If you go down or follow right, there's that one right there. I don't know if was that. Do we know if they ever hooked that up after they brought it in, or could that be the new electrical bunker and they just brought it in well before they were ready for it?
I think that's the comms bunker, and this is the actual. This is. I think this is just a the motor control for these pumps, and
Hmm.
maybe some other things, but
Okay.
because these are big electrical motors, these things, and
Yeah.
they're on variable frequency drives, and there's like a lot of them. That's a like I mean, it's not as big as like that liquid, application plant over the road, but for a general sort of industrial installation, that's a lot of electric three-phase motors to be on variable frequency drives. So that could just be power alone, and this could be comms alone.
Hmm.
So this could be like, so we don't need another one of them because they're going to share the pump farm by the look of it, by the look of all this. But they may need another comms bunker for, even if it's just for the tower, like this building, it might be this building,
Yeah.
which is things like we think chopsticks control and etc. and a few things like that. Which with that other photo, that's sort of heading in the right direction for that. So there could be a bunker in here, which would allow, like I said, that'd allow the truck still to come through here. Because I thought they were going to go into that building, which would kind of make sense too, like shared comms. So that's probably comms for this whole system. So there'd be a number of sensors and valves and actuators for all these. There's how many valves are in here? Look at them all. There's valves
Oh
everywhere
yeah.
in here. So that could be where the PLCs and the links into the mainframe. I still believe there's a big mainframe at the production site that actually controls all this as well. And these are just sort
Yeah.
of like junction boxes, you might say, or where they sort of break out into all the finer controls and come in here in like fiber optic or something.
And I'm
Well,
sure
probably
that's
the
somewhere in the
primary
office
server
building.
room is probably in the office building for
Yeah.
mission control.
Oh, that side building at the office, maybe. Yeah, we always
Well,
thought
no,
that.
I bet there's a location inside the office building where there's a gigantic server room that
Yeah,
is running the Star Factory, the Mega Bays,
yeah,
basically running their entire network inside Starbase, and
and the
that's
launch
where
site.
that plus the Borg cube, the Starlink building is probably those two combined are their entire data communications, that entire thing. So all of that
Yeah.
between
So
those two buildings, they probably have a lot of hardware around there. So.
yeah, so those conduits. Yeah, it makes sense to have one sort of mainframe rather than computers all over the place. That's and just have like dumb terminals basically. Like that building's basically a dumb terminal, you might say. So another comms building here, maybe, and that seems to be heading. Well, that's that conduit's running into there. So they've come through here now. Whether they're just going to go under. Looks like this is a bit confusing, but
Hmm.
I'd I'd say they're going to just run under these with directional boring machines. I would imagine.
Yeah, that is probably going to be that run of conduit right there. Might be the new run to the tower,
Yes, for the comms.
the
Oh,
tower, and then probably to the run to the pad as well.
I'm not
So
sure if it's going to be power or just comms. So, like I said, it might be that same building that Stephanie's building over there that you all like to call. And so, power for which may include power for the tower. Because compared to the pump farm, the tower, except for the winch, of course, it draws them. an enormous amount of power. Other than that, the tower's not that electrically demanding on electricity.
Yeah, it'd just be the lights and
The
then the motor for the
actuators.
The actuators now, yeah, sure.
Yeah, the
The-
chopstick actuators use a boatload of power.
and
They
the
use a
motor for
lot.
the man lift, the elevator, construction elevator, man lift, whatever you want to call it, inside.
Yeah, that's pretty light compared
Yeah.
to like the draw works, and yeah, yeah, fair enough, Ryan. See for the actuators, but
Yeah, the
they're still
actuators for the sticks are probably what's going to use some of the most power when you've been being used out of the entire tower.
well, I'd say the
That is,
draw works
those get
first,
pretty
then
hot. Tower
I'd say the draw works, then the actuators, because that draw works is a massive machine. It's got massive engines on it, massive motor on it, and probably high voltage too. I mean, these sticks actuators could be high voltage too, but I doubt
Oh,
it.
those are definitely high voltage. I bet. I don't
That's
even.
glad
I don't even want to know what those are probably running at. I doubt they're running at like 240 or 280. I mean, like 480 or something. I doubt they're running even that low.
Wouldn't
I don't.
surprise it wouldn't surprise me if there's 8 three-phase 480-volt motors on the actuators, but I'm pretty sure the Drillworks is up around over maybe 1,000, maybe 2,200. I'm not sure. I
You've
could
got
be
even
wrong.
better
You could be
shots
right.
of the ship section, I think, because it's
Oh,
sitting in the middle of
cool.
the ring yard.
Awesome, yeah. Yeah, so we usually get that nice shot straight down into the front of Mega Bay 2. You could be right, Ryan. It could be high voltage. I can see it being either.
3094 is got a nice shot of it too, sitting in the middle of the ring yard.
And sorry to interrupt, but we want to thank a bunch of people for donations. We want to thank Yazada for his $10 donation. We want to thank Meg Weaver for their $100 donation. And they wrote, here's
Whoa.
for your extra fuel cost fund, and $20 from Turtle Sanctuary. And he says, sorry I missed a flyover. Looking forward to a great show and tell. FYI, Mauricio is stuck up in the air because there's a plane that landed and then had a flat tire on the runway. So it's going to be 20 to 40 minutes before he can land. He wanted me to let you know, Steph, that there are photos of the plane with the flat tire on the runway. It's the one that we usually use. So the Cessna we normally fly in is the one that had a flat tire on the runway, and there's no other open runways. So he might get diverted to Harlingen. But yeah, he's up in the air for an extra 20 to 40 minutes right now, flying
Depends on
over
how
the
much fuel he
airport.
has.
Yeah. And then we
Depends on
also
how much
want to
fuel. Yep.
Sorry. We also want to thank Denise for her $5 donation. And she wrote, toward ice pellet goggles, thank you for the luck. Opportunity meets preparation.
That's funny. Wow, $100. Wow. Good stuff. Good
Flat
on you.
tire. Oops.
Where's that? Which photo's
It's a
got the
big
flat
oops.
tire?
Maybe refresh.
That's just a whoops.
Yeah, but it's a whoop that takes
Hey.
like 40 minutes to clear, right?
There's a tank on the highway.
Well, you either need to go out there and change the tire. You have to go out there and change it, because if you try to taxi or tow the plane with a flat tire, you could damage the axle, and you don't want to damage the axle. So you have to get mechanics out there to change the tire, and then get a tug out there to tug it out, or you run it up again and taxi it out.
And
So
that
that could
roughly
take a
takes
bit
how
to
long?
get. That could take a bit to get all the parts out there to do it.
Wow.
The tank on the move.
And Ryan, would they have mechanics like that available at any time at a smaller airport?
It's probably an FBO down there that'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of airports have a hangar, like a aircraft maintenance mechanic. You usually have
they got
their
them on
workshop.
call to do stuff. Jesus
Like
Christ,
usually
Google
have it.
Drive. It's stupid right now.
Yeah, I can't find that picture of the airport. What's that? Where's that tank? Where's that? Where are we? It's at the port. I'm pretty sure that's at the port.
So that's
See, those
what?
are the railway lines.
That's 5 new small tanks plus 4 new vertical tanks. Are those the new
Oh,
ones?
Stephanie, go back up. What's that? 2 to the right of the one you currently have selected. That might help us figure out where that is.
That's a lot of tanks sitting there.
Was it 3223? Far left of that row you're in.
Yeah,
What's
left,
that?
not right.
Yeah, left, yeah.
Your other left.
Yeah, that's by the airport, it looks like.
That
No, the
truck
road-
is heading northbound on the route towards the LNG facility because that's the railroad train yard right there, and that's that dead end that's the engine sitting there. That's heading northbound towards the LNG facility from Brownsville.
Hmm.
Cool.
Because there's a train engine sitting right there for the freight yard.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Is that it? No, hang on. That looks like a carriage.
Yeah, it does. But there's there's a whole group of sidings right along 84 on that route, like that look exactly like that. That ending off the route, the railroad that runs parallel.
Oh, I haven't got the old photos to show you the port. So anyway, we'll come back to that on the show and tell. I'll work that out by the show and tell. And then at where all the tanks are. Oh, here you go. Got some. So this is all. So you're saying, hang on. These are the old methane tanks, yeah?
Yeah.
They're the old water deluge tanks. So there's 4
Yeah.
new vertical tanks and
5 new smaller vertical tanks.
okay, yeah, wow.
Well, are they the ones that were sitting in the port last week?
Those were I haven't looked at
Because
those.
there were 5 small tanks sitting in the port last week with a couple of other longer ones. They all came on one big boat a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was probably them. Maybe them.
Because that's the connector road there on the left, right?
Yeah, this is the normal spot where this is like where that's the port connector road, yep. And this is where they're the old methane tanks and the old water deluge water tanks. This is where we saw all the new big tanks that were at the launch site now and that.
And then Ziggy had a question. He's wondering what you all thought of the SpaceX video that was just released.
Oh, the next documentary, that was amazing. So many little tidbits of information. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Really
So,
worth
yeah.
watching.
Steph, if you want to end it, we can do that.
Okay, so all right, so cool. So I think give me 1 second here.
I was like,
So
you stopped talking.
Yeah. So thank all the people that donated, especially those couple of really big donations. That's just so so appreciated and really does put to good use because that over time and the amount of time that Mauricio spends doing this and that, tiny bits that are left over helps him out and his family. So that's awesome to see. I don't think the channel actually runs at much of a profit. So all of these donations are really worthwhile. Thank you very much. And once again, the personal, saying that we're doing a good job and stuff like that. That's really good to hear that because, I'm glad that we're keeping you happy. So all the YouTube members, thank you very much for being members and continuing your support as well in that area. So just even if it's a $2 a month membership or whatever levels you're at, that's all. Every single dollar helps every month. So we really appreciate all the YouTube members, and of course over here on Discord, the Patreon members. We really appreciate all you guys as well. So we'll say goodbye to YouTube. Well, thank you, Ryan, heaps as well for joining me today, talking. It was good having you yakking away with me.
Pleasure as always.
I Jake usually talks more, but he might be asleep.
No, I'm not.
Oh, cool. And we'll have a show and we'll have a show and tell a bit later on. So yeah, thanks YouTube. We'll close YouTube. Thanks, Indy.
Yep. So if you guys aren't already members, we hope that you join so you can join us for the show and tell a little bit later today. We have Starbase Weekly tomorrow with Zach, and then Starbase Expanded on Tuesday. And in the immortal words of Matt, love, peace, and chopstick rail grease.